So I'm a coffee addict. Coffee addict. So I'm drinking roughly around 10 to 15 cups of coffee a day. So that's basically my water. Then I love to play. I have sports, of course. I play badminton, volleyball, table tennis. I do play that. No to Mobile Legends. So sorry guys. But I do play Dota. Dota 2 to be exact. No? So kung may account kayo, I can give you Arcana if you want.
Sige po, sir.
Sige po. Anong hero? Okay, then comfort food ko. No? Laking chicken joy tayo. So comfort food, fried chicken. Pag mag-meet tayo face to face, tapos makita nyo kung stress, bigyan nyo lang ako ng fried chicken. Yan. Kakalma na ako yan. And kape, syempre. Those are my comfort food and drink. Okay, so yun lang. Yun nga lang as a person, I have principles, particularly to work. So work is work. So walang samaan ng loob, walang kaibigan, walang kamag-anak, walang tropa, walang kumpare. Trabaho. Then I always believe that the quality of your work should define who you are and what you are. Diba? So it's all about, my work principles. So I don't want to gauge people based on their academic background, based on their past experiences. But I do, judge people based on what I see today. Okay, so that's just me in a nutshell. Okay, para alam niyo na. Then I'm very, very much excited to see you guys face to face. Kasi to be honest, virtual class is something boring. I find it very, very boring. Tapos di ko makita yung facial expressions, and if you really guys are learning and yung interactions are not there, then normally, I'm handling application-based subjects. No? So it's seldom do I handle yung mga math subjects. So tapos na ako dun sa time na nag-handle ako ng mga algebra, trigonometry, ito, economy, no? But then again, sabi kasi ni Ma'am Seves, for the meantime kasi wala magtuturo. Wala na available magturo sa inyo na engineering academy. So I'm handling it for the meantime. But we're looking for people who can handle it other than me because I prefer to handle application-based subjects, mga machineries, instrumentations and controls because those are my fortes. And those are my current, work on a daily basis, which I can actually share to everyone. So, yun, any question? Anything you want to ask before I move to our discussion? Sorry, I'm vaping. None? Okay, so if there's none, ano nila tayo? Let's set some ground rules. Okay? So one, alam ko naman hindi kayo required to attend the class. That's something I respect. But I truly encourage everyone to please, if you can attend the class. Okay? Then I'll be giving you activities. So papost lang lahat dito. Don't worry, I don't be giving you examinations. Diba? Wala namang sasubigay ako ng exam. Google nyo lang din naman eh. Diba? So, huwag tayo maglokohan. Diba? I've been there, done that years ago. Diba? So, ganun din naman. Kung magbibigay ako ng exam, magkakopyahan, mag-sharing lang din naman kayo ng answer and so on and so forth. So, nonsense. But I'll be giving you activities. Okay? So, I just encourage you. I know, magtutulungan kayo. I know, magkakaibigan kayo. Definitely, magka-question kayo. But at least try it. I know this is a trying times for everyone. This is something, the current setup is something different from what we are used to. Diba? Pero please don't take it as an opportunity for you guys to, diba, to take advantage of things and, make your life easy. Pero, I mean, take it as this opportunity pa rin to learn really. And, put extra effort. Okay? I believe, no, hindi lang naman ako yung teacher na halos di rin nakakapasok. Marami kami, definitely, no, because of the current situation. But then again, this is your life. Okay? Regardless of the shortcomings that PUP will be having for the next years to come to you guys, diba? At the end of the day, when you graduate, when you graduate from the university, that would be your life. You cannot look back and tell, si Sir Reggie naman nagturo yan. Si Ma'am Seb, wala namang bigay sa amin yan. Si Sir Balita, di rin kami naturuan ng maayos na. Kaya di namin alam yun. At the end of the day, it's not like that. Okay? So, in these trying times, in this current setup, please take advantage of the idea that nasa bahay lang kayo. Then, try give extra time and effort to study. Because I'm telling you, with the current setup, it's really hard for all teachers to teach. Diba? We really can't give you everything. Then most of the time we're gonna give you like things to to read, things to practice with, YouTube link for you to watch. But then again, diba? That's that much as we could do. Diba? For example, right now you're a computer engineering student, you should be learning what? Programming. Diba? You should be learning decodings. Diba? SQL, PHP, Java. So I know you guys are having a hard time, learning those things. But at the end of the day, sabi ko nga sa inyo, pag lumabas kayo ng universidad, di ba? There's no looking back and no point of blaming people and blaming the situation of COVID for you not learning much. Okay? So, bottom line, need extra time. Please give extra effort. Okay? So, yun lang. Next natin is that please make sure to pag merong activity, send on time. Okay? So pag sinabing Monday, it's Monday. If it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday. Pag sabing Monday 12 p.m., that's before 12 p.m. Okay? So if we are on a normal basis, you'll know why I am so strict with that. Okay, those are the basic principles of life. So if you cannot meet at on time, then it will be a very problems moving forward. Okay, then please participate. If you have questions, ask questions. There may be questions that I cannot answer that we may be part. That they may be questions out of nowhere. Pagkatapos ng klase, may isip nyo. Isulat nyo lang. Tapos next meeting din, i-reach din nyo. So, ganun lang. Okay? So, ano pa ba? Yun lang naman kasi naka-virtual naman tayo. Sino palang class secretary ninyo? Hello?
Si Season po, sir.
Si?
Season, Joyce po.
Joyce, Season. Joyce, are you in the call? Wala siya. Assistant Secretary, may ganun ba? Ruby, sinong Assistant Secretary natin?
Wala po. Pero pwedeng ako naman na, sir.
Okay, sige. Ruby, ganito ha. So, create an Excel file. So, every meeting natin, update natin yung attendance para makikita natin dun sa group. Okay? So,
Okay po.
so most of the activities natin, simple lang ako. So, save as PDF, tapos i-upload sa group natin. So, Facebook wouldn't lie. Diba? May timestamp yon, may date yon. So, alam natin yun kung napasa mo siya on time or not. Okay? Basta dun lang siya. Okay? Okay. May question kayo before we start. Oy, ang babait nyo naman. Third year na kayo. Kain. Sorry, di pa ako nag-lunch. Any question? Okay, meron ba dito tayong mga ano ba tawag mo doon? Yung mga module student? O lahat kayo online? Ruby?
Online po lahat.
Good. Wala akong magiging problema. Okay, so if there's no question, can we start now?
Siguro po,
Okay,
sir.
Jericho. So what is engineering economy?
Engineering Economics, sir.
Nag-send ako sa inyo
Um,
ng file, tama? So, dapat nabasa nyo na yun.
Sir. Basta, sir, kalimutan ko yun. Kailangan, sir, alalahanin ko. Engineering
Okay,
Economics,
sige.
sir.
Let's add additional rule here. No one is allowed to speak in Tagalog, starting now. Guys, remember,
Sige, sir, pass na lang ako.
no pass. Guys, remember, 2 years from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll be graduating. You'll be presenting yourself to the people outside PUP. You will be marketing yourself to have a job. Okay? Gone are the days that engineers can speak English fluently. So if you won't start now and practice now, when do you plan? When you apply for a job? Do you expect interviewer to speak Tagalog in front of you during the interview?
Okay po, sir.
Okay. So let's try. It's okay.
Sir, it's about the, sir, yung evaluation and analysis. Analysis and evaluation of the factors that will affect the economic success of engineering projects po. Yun po yung naalala ko.
Oh, good. So, Jericho, do you have a friend?
Friend po. Few.
Kier, do you have who is your best friend in the class?
I think si Amiel po, sir.
Who?
Si Agregado po, sir.
Oh, Agregado, Amiel. Right? So, same question, Amiel. What is engineering economy? Not that clear, Amiel. Try to speak closer to your microphone. So you haven't read the document yet. You had your economic subject during your high school, right? Yep. And you've been an engineering student for 3 years now. So what is engineering economics? Quick question, guys. And this is a question to everyone. What do you think is the role of engineers in the society? What do you think is your role after you graduate? Do we need to have a career 101? You've been taking computer engineering for 3 years now.
To produce.
Anyone who would like to answer it?
For us to produce.
Produce. Produce what?
Some stuff that will help people work easily. Parang ganun, sir.
Okay, now to cut the long story short, no, if you're going to read into history, no, engineering, our sole purpose is to make life easier. So that's actually our sole purpose. So we think of something, we create something, then we produce it. Diba? Way back years ago, how do we communicate with one another? Telegraph? Through the hard letters? Now, we have internet. We have cell phones. Who are responsible for that? Scientists? engineers. So always bear in mind that your role in the society as engineers is to make things easier. Life easier for everyone. Anyway, going back to my question, what's engineering economy? I'll turn off my camera so you won't be seeing me smoking, okay? Sorry. Okay, anyone, engineering economy. In your own words, not by the definition that you can read in the book.
Sir,
Yes, Gio.
I'll try. It's like the study of managing resources, like the capital, financially speaking, to aid like the engineering projects that we take on. That's just my understanding, sir.
Okay, good. Gio, any friend who would like to help you? O wala kang kaibigan? Seems like we have only few people who read through the document, even the chapter 1. So I'll be sharing my screen. The same material that I sent to you. Actually, Ruby sent to you because I cannot upload it using my laptop. Okay, so by definition, engineering economy is the analysis and evaluation of factors that will affect the economic success of any engineering projects. Starting with the recommendation, okay, until to the use of the capital and to implementation. So to cut the long story short, is the use of economic tool, okay, to be used in engineering practices to make us more what? Profitable. Okay? So it's not using engineering to economics, but rather using the knowledge and tools of economics to engineering. Because at the end of the day, when we develop something, you want people to buy it. Okay? And you don't want people to buy it that you will be incurring loss. Hindi ka mag-business ng palugi. Di ba? So, engineering economics tell us what are the right way to manage our resources, particularly in the engineering practices, of how can we make what we're doing profitable in terms of managing resources such as time, effort, materials, money, otherwise known as capital. So, huwag niyo pahirapan ang sarili niyo. So, ginagamit natin to. The reason why we want to learn about these things because gusto natin kumita. In the way we practice engineering. So that's regardless whether you're COE, ECE, ME, civil engineers, diba, chemical engineers, it's the same concept. So when you had your economic subject during your high school, or maybe you have an economic subject, macro or microeconomics during your this previous semesters that you had, diba? Economics simply talks about how can we make money. Okay? Kaya kung gusto mo lagi positive economy, ayaw mo ng negative economy kasi sa negative economy, nalulugi ka. We're wasting money. Diba? So when we talk about economy, we talk about consumers, we talk about producers, we talk about goods, we talk about services. So what's the connection? Consumers are the one who are buying what? Products or services. For example, COE. When you graduate, anong trabaho mo? Developer? Well, depende pala kung anong major nyo. Sorry, I wasn't able to ask. Anong major nga pala ng COE sabihin yan? Hardware, software.
Hardware po ata, sir.
Hardware. So, dapat I'm expecting you had basic electronic subject. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ngayon pong third year na umpisa.
Third year, nag-umpisa. Basic
Ay,
electronics.
Meron po nung second year.
Second
pero-
year.
Pero more on po yung subject ngayon is electricity na.
Because you don't have background in electricity. So, you have microprocessor. Tapos na kayo sa microprocessor?
Sa second sem pa po yata yun, sir.
Second sem. So, okay. Sige. So, you'll be focusing on hardware. So, basic computer, hardware, processing, you have. So, in short, when you graduate, product development. Okay, so more on the hardware side, not on the software side. We talk about software side, it's more on programming, debuggings, diba? Application creation, creating applets. No? So, yun naman yun. So, hardware, magkakasundo tayo. So, when I was in this PS, I'm actually teaching computer hardware technology. You know, pero medyo nakalimutan ko na siya kasi it was like 10 years ago. So, okay. So, now under economics, we need to understand, we know that we have consumers. Consumers are the one buying goods or services. Diba? So, we have what we call the producers, the one who are producing the goods or providing the services. Okay? Now, we need to understand that there are types of services and goods. Now, there are necessities and there are luxuries. Ito yung pagkakaiba ng need and want. Okay? So, ano yung need ko para mabuhay? Kailangan ko ng shelter, kailangan ko ng food, kailangan ko ng clothing, I need a house, di ba? Pero doon yung ipapasok yung difference ng luxury, meaning want. Di ba? Okay na ba ako sa condo? O mas gusto ko yung mansion? Okay na ba ako magsuot ng RTW or I need to wear Louis Vuitton dress? Chanel? Okay? And the choices that people makes in terms of choosing between what they want and simply what they need depends upon what you call the capacity of a certain people or a certain individual. Okay, so if you read into the necessities, sabi niya, necessities are those products or services that are required to support human life and activities. That whatever happens, I need to purchase. For example, food. Kailangan ko lang naman kumain eh. Pero hindi naman sinabi ko kailangan ko kumain sa kumain sa 5-star hotel every day. Kailangan ko lang naman may laman ng tiyan ko. Hindi ko kailangan mag-buffet o mag-sangyupsal araw-araw. Diba? Now, in terms of the business side, dito ngayon pumapasok yung yung tinatawag nating law of supply and demand. Diba? So, I believe you guys are all familiar with the idea of law of supply and demand. Tama? So, when you talk about demand, it is the quantity of certain commodity that is bought at a certain price at a given place and time. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung kailangan, ito yung quantity of a certain service or good that people requires. So, for example, pandesal, di ba? So, naging culture ng Filipino is that pag almusal, may pandesal. So, hanggat may Pilipino, hanggat may nag-aalmusal, may maghahanap ng pandesal. Okay? Now, you have to come on supply. Ibig sabihin, ito naman yung number or quantity that producers can only provide. Diba? So, ang tao, sabihin mong sa isang lugar, ang tao na mga kumakain pandesal 100. Pero ang kaya lang i-produce ng nag-iisang bakery sa lugar na yan ay 50. So meaning there are only 50 people who can buy because the supply is limited. Not to mention, papasok ngayon yung capacity. Now, there are people who could buy one, and there are people who could buy 2 or 3 if they want to. Thus, papasok ngayon tayo sa tinatawag nating elasticity of demand and supply. So we talk about elastic demand. It of course when there are decreasing selling price, resulting in a greater production of sales. So ibig sabihin, bumababa yung demand ko. Okay, bumababa yung demand ko kung hindi ko naman siya kailangan. So may tinatawag naman tayo in elastic demand. Of course, when decrease of selling price produces less than proportionate increase in price. So, pag bumaba ang presyo ko, there's a tendency na maraming bumili. Pag tumaas ang presyo ko, there's a tendency na konti ang bibili. So, now you get the point of the idea of supply and demand, di ba? So, kung mas marami yung supply sa nangangailangan, mababa ang presyo ko. Pero kung mas marami ang nangangailangan compared sa ibinibigay ko, tumataas ang presyo ng produkto ko o ng serbisyo ko. Okay? That's a normal scenario. So, particularly commodities natin. But when you talk about luxury, dito na ngayon pumapasok yung variable of capability of certain individuals to buy or to acquire goods or services at a greater price. So, dyan na ngayon na nababali yung ideya ng supply and demand. Kasi, kaya ko eh. Kahit isa lang yan, ako lang naman may kayang bumili. Diba? Then, that's how pasok yung ideya ng unitary elasticity of demand. Ibig sabihin, demand is equivalent to supply. Okay? Nakakahabol tayo?
Opo, sir.
So, I mean, this is very, very, very elementary, di ba? So, ngayon, there are certain factors affecting supply and demand. Also, there are certain factors affecting product or service prices. Okay? So, for example, diba? Sino mga naka-iPhone dyan? Meron ba mga naka-iPhone? Kasi ang next question ko, bakit ka nasa PUP?
Ako po, sir.
Yaman! Talagang proud siya.
Bigyan lang po ng tito sa galing ibang bansa.
Diba? So, for example, Apple, no? Alam ko naman, familiar kayo sa iPhone, diba? The technology and the product that Apple gives to or offering is one of a kind. Kung di ka pa kayo nakaranas ng iPhone, kung makaranas kayo versus to your Android phones, then you'll see the difference and you'll understand why mahal siya. Diba? So, si Apple, magkano na ba ang iPhone 13 Pro Max ngayon? 87,000? So, yun yung presyo niya. So, mahal. Diba? 87, makakabili na ako ng NMAX yata na. So, ganoon siya kamahal. Pero, they are very confident in giving a selling price point because we are the only one giving that kind of service and that kind of product in the market. Unlike, for example, Android phones. Diba? You have what? How many manufacturers? May Xiaomi, ganon. You have Samsung, you have Huawei, ano pa ba? Cherry Mobile, My Phone, 'di ba? That uses yung Android technology. Okay? So, ngayon, if I want to have the Android experience, I have a lot of choices. So, ibig sabihin, companies using Android technology, they have lots of competition. Unlike, for example, using iOS, meaning iPhone, wala akong competition. So, I am giving, and I am offering a definite service and a definite product, one of a kind, not comparable to other. Okay? So, ngayon, paano naapektuhan yung prices? Dito na ngayon pumapasok yung tinatawag nating market play. So, kumbaga laro ng merkado, depende sa dami ng players. Okay? So, ngayon may tinatawag tayong competition, monopoly, and oligopoly. So, pag sinabi mong competition, so perfect competition is a situation where a commodity or service is supplied by a number of vendors. So, yan na nga, si Android, di ba? Ang dami yan eh. Di ba? And wala naman nagpe-prevent kay Samsung, kay Huawei, kay ano ba to? Kay Xiaomi, kay MyPhone to develop and develop more and entering to that. 'Di ba? Before ang kilala lang nating brand Nokia using Symbian. 'Di ba? Si Nokia lang kilala natin eh. Tapos iPhone then Samsung is meron before pero hindi siya ganun ka boom. 'Di ba? Nag-boom si Samsung when they started to offer the Android technology. They are actually the first mobile company who used the Android technology. Sila ang hindi pa sikat si Android, no? That was way back 20, if I'm not mistaken, that's way back 2010 when Samsung offered the first Android phone. Okay? Napumatay kay Napumatay kay Symbian. 'Di ba? So, perfect competition. I have so many people using the same technology or offering the same product, same services, 'di ba? And anyone can actually compete. So, for example, dishwashing liquid. 'Di ba? Before pag sabi kong dishwashing liquid, sino lang kilala ko? Si Joy. Joy, manufactured by Procter & Gamble Philippines. Diba? Pero ngayon, when you talk about dishwashing liquid, meron ka ng Surf. Meron na sila. Tapos meron ka pa ng Champion. Then, may Action ka pa. Tapos ngayon, marami na lumalabas sa mga homemade. And everyone can actually easily penetrate the market. So that's a competition model. Now you have naman monopoly. So if I have a perfect competition, I have the totally opposite of that, which is monopoly. Meaning, like for example, Apple, diba? So they are the only one producing and offering the product. So kumbaga, wala akong pakialam sa inyong lahat. Basta ako, I will sell my product at this price. And no one can dictate me because this is what I want. If you don't want to buy, then don't buy. Ganun siya kasimple. Diba? Now, monopoly, alam ko narinig nyo yan, diba? May nag-monopoly dyan kasi, tawag nito, nagtaas na naman yung presyo ni ganyan. So on and so forth. Paano ko ba i-accept yun? Nawawala. Ang lalabas ulihan. Okay? So, ganun siya. So ano pa ba mga example natin ng monopoly natin ngayon? Di ba? Sa Philippines, that there's only one company producing one specific product na binibili lang talaga natin. Na walang katulad. Meron ba kayong maisip? Anyone? Huwag na iPhone na, paulit-ulit. Oh, wala nang maisip yung iba.
Sir, wala, sir.
Oo, kasi sa Pilipinas, ang galing natin, tinalo natin ang China sa pag-iimite. So sabi niya, Meralco. Meralco, yes. Correct. That's good. Meralco is offering what? The utility, power, electricity natin, di ba? And no one can control the price of Meralco. Pag sinabi lang mag-increase ako, mag-increase ako. Di ba? Pag gusto nila, kapal ang mga mukha. Now, meron naman tinatawag na oligopoly. So, oligopoly, tawag naman dyan, exists when there are few suppliers of a product or service that action by one will almost inevitably result in the similar action by the others. O ano yan? Oligopoly. Ibig sabihin, yan yung tinatawag nating mafia. Diba? Ito yung mga iilang tao o iilang companies that that offers the same product, but then again they are colliding and they are controlling the price. For example, petroleum. Diba? Pag nagtaas si Petron, anong gagawin ni Shell? Hindi pa patalo, magtataas din. Ba? Pag magtaas si Caltech, sasabay din sila. Tapos sabihin nila, dahil yan kay world market eh. Dahil sa pag-angkat. But in reality, they're just controlling the price. Kaya nga meron silang group of petroleum suppliers of the Philippines. So, because they want to control the price point. Because at the end of the day, people needs to buy petroleum. Diesel, gasoline, kerosene, they need to buy. Because petroleum is currently, is considered to be a necessity of people. Especially those who are having, they have the cars and for the use of public transportation. So it's part of our necessities. Diba? Yung asukal na yan. Diba? Sugar. So we only have how many companies producing sugar in the Philippines? We only have 4. Diba? 2 is being owned by a single person. So they control the supply, they control the price. Kaya magugulat ka, bakit tumaas na naman ang asukal? Okay? So those are the kinds of marketplace, okay, in studying economics. Okay? So oligopoly is something that we are as a country, any country is trying to regulate and control. Because we don't want that this company controls the price of certain commodities, particularly the necessities. Kaya magtatanong kayo, anong purpose ni DTI? Familiar ba kayo kay DTI? Diba? So, si Department of Trade and Industry, they control, okay, the prices of commodities tagged as necessities. Kaya minsan, di ba marinig nyo, may price freeze tayo for meats, for sugar, tapos other than that, canned goods. So pag sabing canned goods, anong canned goods yun? Limited to sardines. Other than sardines, all canned goods are not part of necessities. So, pwede silang mag-increase ng price pag century tuna. They are not considered as necessity. They will fall under already as luxury for people. Okay? So, again competition, monopoly, then oligopoly. Then you have ngayon, with that said, then mo ngayon ma-appreciate yung the law of supply and demand. Diba? The greater the demand, the greater the price of a certain product. The lesser the demand, the lesser the price of a certain product. Of course, depending of the number and the availability of supply being given by a certain producer. So supply is the quantity of the certain commodity that is offered at a sale at a certain price at a given place in time. So this law of supply and demand may be stated as follows. Under conditions, perfect competition, the price at which a given product will be supplied or purchased, if the price that will will result in the supply and demand being equal. Yan. So, ang gusto natin lagi, di ba, in economy is that nasa ideal state ka. Meaning, the price of a certain product is actually equal to the demand. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, controlled. That's why DTI is controlling that. So, for example, nung pandemic, kailangan na maraming sabon. Kasi, because we're promoting hygiene, di ba? Kailangan na maraming alcohol. So ngayon, what DTI did is actually, PNG, okay, you need to produce more, but you cannot increase your price. So it's a mandated direction coming from the government. Sabihin mo, sir, dami naman tumaas ang presyo face mask because wala naman tayong manufacture ng face mask sa Philippines. Face mask, parang 95% of face masks are being imported. Okay, wala tayong producer ng face mask sa Philippines as of the moment. Okay, after a year meron na. So meron na tayong mga small companies that adopted the creation of face mask. Kaya ngayon bumalik na tayo sa normal price ng face mask. Diba, parang I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but there's a point in time where face mask is valued around 20 pesos a piece, coming from 2 pesos. So imagine, that's roughly around 1,000% increase in terms of price. Diba? Because there's a lot of demand, all of a sudden, then the supply is not ready. Then everybody's asking for a face mask. So, ngayon, ang daming nangangailangan, konti ang supply, so nagtaas siya ng presyo. Okay? So, yun yung ano natin, law of supply and demand. Now, we have naman the law of diminishing return now, which states that when the use of one of the factors of production limited, either in increasing cost or absolute quantity, a point will be reached beyond which increase in the variable factors will result in less than proportionate increase in output. Okay? So, simplihan natin yung law of diminishing returns. Diba? If the supplier keeps on alam mo yun, increasing the price because of a greater demand, there's a point where people cannot buy anymore. Okay? So, dito na ngayon pumapasok yung people's capacity. So, it's not always true that it's okay to increase price because there's a greater demand compared to supply. Because there are variables such as people's capacity to buy a certain good. And that is the law of diminishing return. There's only a threshold. There's a breaking point where people can buy a certain good at a certain price. So, ngayon, yan na yung, hindi na ako lalabas para di ako naka-face mask. Di ba? O kaya, ba't pa ako uli bibili? Di wash and wear ko na lang yung face mask. Di ba? So, makakita kayo mga post sa FB na yung face mask, nilalaban na lang nila. Or some people actually created face mask out of cottons and all. But they are not actually medically medically graded. So, basta lang may face mask. Okay? So, yun yung the law of diminishing returns. Okay. So, question before, so that's just a wrap up of a quick concept about economics before we go to our uh, next topic. Any question? Ang babait nyo naman, wala pa so far. Okay, if there's none, let's continue. So, our chapter 2 talks really about, ito na, di ba, chapter 1 is just a concept of economics. Now, let's go on dun sa mathematics of economics. Di ba? How does economics is being used in our daily life and us as engineers? So, before we go to the application side in the, our profession, let's understand the basic mathematics of economics. Okay? So chapter 2 is about the interest, money, and time relationship. So again, interest is the amount of money paid for the use of borrowed capital or income produced by money which has been loaned. So interest. Narinig nyo naman yan, di ba? Simplihan natin. Nangutang ako, I borrowed money, then of course, when I, one moment, tawag yung boss ko, kaya mo siya. Nag-ano, pala siya dyan. Ano ba to? Ulit. Guys, 1 minute sagutin ko lang ito. Okay, sorry. Tumawag yung boss ko. Okay, so doon na tayo sa saan pa tayo? Oh, interest. So, of course, when you borrow money, 'di ba? Hindi naman tayo kawang gawa, 'di ba? So, sa mga kamag-anak yan, hindi nga kamag-anak, 'di ba? They apply interest. Because at the end of the day, instead of me using my money, I'm letting you borrow it. I'm not using it. So, hindi ko na pakikinabangan yung resources ko. So, kaya nauso ako sa salitang interest, no? So, in short, tubo. Okay, now we have different types of interest and how we compute interest depending upon the contract and depending upon of what you agreed upon of the borrower and and the one providing the money. Okay, so first tayo, so this is very familiar naman sa inyo. Simple interest. So, it is calculated using the principal only, ignoring any interest that has been accrued preceding period. So, simple interest lang to. In practice, simple interest is paid on the short-term loan in which the time of the loan is measured in days. Or at times, kung hindi days, weeks. So, ngayon, ideally, days siya. Pero by yung mga different practices na ngayon, so, ginagawa na rin siya weekly or at times on monthly basis. So, hindi na talaga ginagamit yung buong concept ng daily which we are looking into the exact, 'di ba? Or ordinary interest. So, sa simple interest natin, so as for the sake of our study, pag may nakita tayong malaking I, ang ibig sabihin niyan, interest mo, pag sinabi mo namang big F, accumulated amount of future worth, ibig sabihin, magkano yung magiging total pera ko pag nagpautang ako kasama yung interest. Okay? So, yung big P mo, capital P, would be your principal amount. Ibig sabihin, magkano yung pinautang mo? Tapos yung N, small n, is actually number of interest periods. Ilang beses kang mag-i-interest. Tapos yung I mo na maliit is the rate of interest per interest period. So yan na ngayon yung rate ng interest mo. So by formula, future worth is equivalent to principal plus the interest. So sabi nga natin, di ba, yung interest mo is a factor of the present value times interest rate times time. So that's F is equal to Pn, P, capital P plus capital P and I. Okay, so following basic algebra, factoring, so future worth is actually equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus the product of Ni. So very straightforward. So we have what we call the ordinary simple interest, which we compute on a 12 months basis, 30 days a month, summing to 360 days a year. Okay, so one interest period is 360 days. So meron naman tayong exact. So ito ay medyo nakakabaliw kasi pag exact, 365 days a year, tapos 366 naman siya pag leap year. Diba? So poproblemahin mo pa yung leap year. Minsan na lang magpakita. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to determine the ordinary simple interest, so ordinary simple interest, watch the term ordinary, of 700 pesos for 8 months, di ba? And 15 days. If the rate of interest is 15%, so number of days is 8 months, times 30 plus 15. So that would be 255 days. So over, sabi mong ganon, so to get your I, your big I, or your interest, it's actually PNI, di ba? So 700 times, okay, the quantity of 255 over 360, so times mo by 15%. Or, pag 15%, divide mo by 100 para makuha mo yung decimal point. Okay? Kasi di mo naman pwede times yung 15 diretso. Laki niyan. So, that's actually 74 pesos and 38 centavos. So, ngayon, so your interest is 74.38. Pag pinahanap naman sa'yo yung future worth mo, so that would be 260 That would be 700 plus 74.38. So that would give you 774.38 pesos. Still following? Boring, no? So, pag sabi mo namang exact interest, so for example, I have 500 pesos, okay, that I will be lending for an exact simple interest of 500 pesos for a period of January 10 to October 28 at 16%. So, ito, exact. So, pag exact, so bibilangin mo talaga lahat ng araw sa buwan. Exact nga eh. So, follow mo yung 30, 31, may 29, ganun. So, 21 days ang January mo kasi syempre, 31 minus 10 days. So, 21 na lang siya. Then, February, March, and so on and so forth. Now, take note of February 26. February. Because 1996 is a leap year. Kung 1995 yan, only use 28. Okay? So, bilang. Okay. Now, take note, October 28. Okay, for a period from, so, pag sinabi mong to October 28, so dapat, October 28 is counted as a number of day. Now, there would be questions that would like, a day before October 28. So, you'd use 27. Or a week before October 28. So, you minus 7 ka. Okay? So, exact simple interest mo would be 500 times 292, a total ng number days na yon, over 366, times by 0.16 or 16%. That would give you 68 pesos 93 centavos. No. So, that would be your I. Pag pinahanap naman sa'yo yung future worth, so, i-plus mo lang yung 500 pesos. So, 563.83. So, example nun. What will be the future worth of the money after 14 months if a sum of 10,000 is invested today at a simple interest rate of 12% per year? So, 14 months. Diba? So, straightforward siya. 14 months. So, meron kang following mo yung formula that F is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus NI. So, 10,000 times the quantity of 1 plus the product of 14 over 12 times 0.12. That would give you 11,400. Okay. May question sa simple and exact interest rate? May tanong?
Wala naman po, sir.
So, di ba? So, kung tres ka sa algebra, dapat naiintindihan mo to. I assume walang tres sa algebra dito. So, very straightforward. Ang kagandahan dyan, kung meron kang scientific calculator, mabilis lang yan. Okay. So, that is for the simple interest rate. Now, let's go on to sa concept ng cash flow diagram. Okay? So, sino yung first time nakarinig ng cash flow diagram? Any idea about the cash flow diagram? How do you understand a cash flow diagram? Anyone? Magtatawag na ako.
Parang sa investment ba yan, sir?
Oh, what about investment?
Parang ano kasi may mga nakikita po ang video sa Facebook, mga pages. Parang naririnig ko po, sir.
Yung nakikita mo sa video is not a cash flow diagram. It's actually the behavior of the stock market normally.
Hindi po, sir, yung ano, kumbaga, hindi po yung sa stock market, sir.
Ano?
Yung ano, kumbaga parang kapag nag-investment ka, tas kung paano madodoble rin yung kung ilang taon bago madoble yung in-invest mo. Parang may computation.
No. So anyone, cash flow diagram. Any thoughts? Kasi dapat dito first time sa inyo. Actually, lagi nyo itong ginagawa. Hindi nyo lang alam na gumagawa na kayo ng cash flow diagram. Sa isip ninyo. Layman's definition ng cash flow diagram.
Sir, for me po,
Yes, Roniel. Sorry, Ronil or Roniel?
Renil na lang po, sir.
Ronil, okay.
Yes, in layman's terms, sir, in my own words po, this just representation of before and after of the money. And
No. Not before and after.
yeah, okay, sir.
Cash flow diagram. Sige, pero somewhat like, okay, you could use it to do to that, pero it's not the definition of a cash flow diagram. O, wag niyo muna basahin. O, basahin niyo tapos Renz left the group. Okay, fine. Anyone? Hindi ba nasa ano ko? Nakikita ko lang na pangalan. Oh, wait, let's have, pangalan to? John William?
No, sir.
Oh, John William.
Kanina. Nag-iisip ako.
Okay, patay tayo. Nag-iisip pa. Melden. Alberto.
For me, sir, parang ano yan siya. Siya yung mismong parang set up na siya. Ay, diba? Yung kay Ronil.
Alden, please try to speak closer to your microphone.
Yung di ba po yung sinabi ni Ronil kanina, yung before and after.
Mm-mm.
Parang yung sa akin naman po, kung ano yung nangyayari sa gitna nun, nung before at after. Parang ayun po yung ano kasi.
Okay. Nangyayari sa gitna. Okay. Any thoughts pa? Sino pang mag-volunteer? Okay, magbabasa na ako ng pangalan dito. Sinong
Sir,
swerte
ako
na-
po, sir.
okay. So, John
Right,
William,
right.
ikaw. Okay.
Para literally, nagbibilang ka ng pera, depende sa rate ng, sabi natin kapag umutang ka po.
Rate, depende sa umutang. Not necessarily. Raymart, Salvador. Meron ka sinasabi. Hey guys, what's happened to not speaking Tagalog?
Sir, is it like time frame po for the yung gastos po ng pera, sir? Parang po ganun.
Time frame of gastos ng pera? No.
O sige po.
But you have an idea already. So, sige. Anyone? Sige. Pag wala, pipili ako rito sa listahan. Let's have Joyce. Season.
Hello po, sir. Ano po? Like flow of money where you will predict if your money will increase or will decrease, something like that.
Flow of money, decrease, increase. Sige, sige pa. Mag-roleta tayo dito. Mag-roleta tayo. Roleta. Si Ronil, bakit dalawa yung nakaano dito sa'yo? Dalawa yung account mo?
Di po kasi kita sa phone ko, sir.
Oh, let's have Michael Jan Cadidrilia.
Sir, nag-iisip po po.
Ano?
Nag-iisip pa rin po, sir.
Okay, nag-iisip. Sorry, Neonel? Tama ba to?
Yes po.
Okay, Neonel.
Cash flow diagram po is it's like an overview of parang overview po ng how much money would be yung magagastos po over a period of time.
Magagastos over a period of time. Okay? Jeffeni. Is this Jeffeni? Am I pronouncing it right? Please tell me if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Jeff na lang po.
Oh, Jeff. Okay, fine, Jeff.
Cash flow diagram. Parang para sa akin po, parang literal na kung paano dumalo yung pera mo, kung kailan siya nag-increase, kailan siya nag-decrease, parang ganun po.
Nag-increase, nag-decrease. So somewhat munti ka na. So let's
Sir,
have...
try ulit, sir.
Okay, try ulit dyan.
It's like in and out of money.
Okay. Cash flow diagram simply represents the inflow and outflow of money. So, ibig sabihin, ano yung pumasok, ano yung lumabas sa'yo. At any given point in time. Kaya, di ba, that's why I said a while ago that you're actually doing it. So, let's make it simple. How much is your allowance? Let's say before when you're doing a face-to-face class, my mother's giving you 50 pesos. How much of, so meaning there's a 50 pesos that comes into you. So pumasok. How much is your transportation? 20 pesos. So papunta 10 pesos. So may lumabas sa'yo na 10 pesos.
So technically po, yung breakdown po ng expenses.
It's not the breakdown of expenses, but the flow of money
Sa kahit
to
anong
you
type,
and
sir.
to you. So in short, ano yung lumabas, ano yung pumasok. Okay? Kasi when we talk about breakdown of money, now there will be different representation in terms of a positive or a negative to represent in and flow, in and outflow. Okay? So yung cash flow diagram, simple lang talaga siya. So, ibaba ko lang yung ano ha, yan. So, ganun lang siya, tingnan mo. For example, at time zero, tawag nito, at time zero, nag-loan ka ng 100 pesos. So, may pumasok sa yung 100. Tama? Pero, at the end of 5 intervals, whether it's month, it's year, lalabas sa'yo yung 150 kasi nag-interest na siya. So, with our example a while ago, for example, before you leave your house at time zero, your mom gives you a money and your allowance, let's say 50 pesos. Then after 15 minutes, you ride the tricycle. Then you have to pay 5 pesos for your fare. And that's money going out of you. Diba? Then after, when you are at school, you have a classmate that asks you to, that asks for a favor and he pays you 5 pesos. Then there's 5 pesos coming into you. And the cash flow diagram simply shows you that. So don't get confused in this diagram kasi ang pinakita lang niya dulo-dulo eh, 'di ba? But in reality, it could be there's money coming in at point 1, could be money going in at point 2 or going out at point 3 or going out at point 4. Okay? So that's the idea of a cash flow diagram. It's actually a simple representation of money flowing in or flowing out of you as a reference. So, ilan ang pumasok sa bulsa mo, ilan lumabas sa bulsa mo. Okay? But not necessarily a complete breakdown of your money. Okay? So, for in using a cash flow diagram in a borrower's viewpoint or a lender's viewpoint, so ito yon. So, si lender, syempre, pag going down, nagpahiram ako eh. So, nawalan ako ng 100. Pero at the end of 5 terms, papasok sa akin yung 150. Okay? So pag sa point of view naman ni borrower, 'di ba? So nag-gain ako ng 100 kasi nangutang ako eh. Pero at the end of 5 terms, mawawalan ako ng 150 kasi babayaran ko 'yun. Okay, now that is a cash flow diagram. So in understanding, sabi ko nga sa inyo, this is something, the concept is not new, di ba? You could actually use it on a daily basis when you used your allowance. Di ba? Now, in terms of engineering, so it's very important for us to understand what would be our cash flow. When do I need, how much is my budget? When do I need to pay my suppliers? When do I need to pay my machineries? When will I get my first income? Okay? So, ganito siya. Then from there, you'll have an idea of a certain point in time, you'll be short of money. So, you need to get from another loan. Or maybe you will be more of money, so you'll be investing it to other purposes. Okay? So, yung iba, ayaw na ganito, nag-Excel na lang. Okay? So, question sa cash flow?
Wala naman po so far.
Di ba? Very straightforward naman siya. So, now, we have the second type of interest, which is called compound interest. Sa compound interest naman, di ba, for calculation of compound interest, ito na ngayon this is now the situation where interest is being interest. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pati interest mo, at a certain point, your interest, the initial interest would be part of your principal. Then it would be part of the interest rate for the next term. So, nangutang ako today. After a month, tumubo na siya ng 10%. Okay? So, magiging principal na niya is principal times 1.1. Diba? Next month, ang magiging future worth po na is 1.1. 1.1p would be multiplied by 1.1. Okay? Kasi tumubo na siya. Yung tubo, tutubuan mo na din. So that is compound interest. Kaya nga sabi niya dyan, the interest for an interest period is calculated on the principal plus the total amount of interest accumulated in the previous period. Okay? So in short, ito yung ginagawa ng nagpapautang para, di ba, sabihin nila sa iyo, interest mo 2%. Pero, yung interest mo, tinutubuan din nila. Ngayon, kung medyo tanga-tanga ka, di mo iniintindi, nasa kontrata mo, magugulat ka, akala ko ba 20 pesos lang babayaran ko, ba't naging 35 na yan? So in short, ito yung common scam ng banks and credit cards. Sorry guys, I'm taking a bite because I haven't had lunch yet. Okay? So, if you want to understand more on the borrower's viewpoint, ibig sabihin sa nanghiram. So, for example, I have P. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, di ba? Ano yung principal ko? P. Okay, ano yung magiging interest niya during a certain period? So, PI, di ba? So, total amount mo at the end of yung future worth mo would be P plus PI, which is P times the quantity of 1 plus NI, di ba? Tapos, ngayon, at your second term mo or second interest period mo, yung principal mo is actually now the ending of your first term. So, P na siya plus interest. Di ba? So, tutubuan na rin siya. Okay? And so on and so forth. Di ba? That's why we will end up in the formula that future work for compound interest is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus the interest rate okay, raised to a certain number of period. Okay, so where the quantity of 1 plus the interest times n is commonly called a single payment compound amount factor. And it is designed by the functional symbol of f over p. Okay, okay ha, yung ibig sabihin niya na, pag sinabi kong symbol, functional symbol of f over p, comma, I interest, n, thus ang ibig sabihin nun ay anong ibig sabihin niya? Ang ibig sabihin niya, ayan, basa. The symbol FPIN is read as F given P at I% in N interest period. Okay, using the equation of 2.3. Okay? So, minsan magugulat kayo, anong tinatanong nito? Ba't ganyan? So, ang ibig sabihin niyan, pag binigay niya sa'yo yung binigay niya sa'yo yung format na F over P tapos comma 1 I% and N. Ang sinasabi niya sa'yo, look for the compound interest of the amount given at I interest, a certain percent interest, a certain number of period. Okay? So the quantity I, okay, 1, the quantity of, open close parenthesis of 1 plus I raised to negative n is called a single payment present worth factor. And it's designated by the function symbol of P over F, okay, interest I at N. Okay, so pag binasa mo naman siya, P given F at I% in interest period. Okay? So, yan yung mga critical ha. So, pag F over P, ang hinahanap sa'yo, future worth. Pero pag P over F, ang hinahanap sa'yo, present worth. So, pag makita nyo yan dyan sa mga tanong sa examinations ninyo, minsan yan lang ipapakita ko. Okay? Tapos, nagugulat ka, anong hinahanap ni sir? Ano ibig sabihin nito? Ano pinapakompute sa akin dito? Okay? So, ngayon, pag tinanong mo, search na galing yung 1 plus I raised to negative n. So, it's just a simple mathematic, anong tawag dito? Simple mathematic alterations mo lang. Yun, simple mathematic manipulations lang to derive at a certain new formula. So, yung 2.5 galing lang yan kay 2.3, di ba? So, following, magiging P is equal to F over 1, the quantity of 1 plus I raised to N. Now, following the law of exponent, so pag inangat mo siya, nag-transverse ka, from numerator to denominator, the exponent will be negative sign. Okay? So, nag-derive ka to a new formula of P is equal to F times 1 plus I raised to negative N. Okay? So, basic algebra. Okay? Now, in terms of compound interest, meron tayong may tinatawag tayong nominal rate interest. So, pag sabi ko nominal rate interest, ito yung specific rate of interest at a number of interest period in 1 year. Okay? So, ngayon, dito ngayon pumapasok yung tawag dito. So, interest ko is equal to R over M, where I ko is rate of interest per interest period. Now, R ko naman nominal interest rate, tapos number of compounding period per year. Pag number of compounding period per year, ibig sabihin it could be annually, it could be semi-annually, it could be quarterly, or as good as monthly. Okay, so ibig sabihin ilang beses siya magpapatong. For example, if the nominal rate of interest is 10% compounded quarterly, then yung I mo is equal to 10%. Di ba? Ay, yung I mo is equal to 10% over ilang quarters meron sa isang taon? 4. Tama? So, yung I mo would be equivalent to 2.5%. The rate of interest per interest period. So, meron naman tayong, that's for nominal, ha? Nominal rate of interest. Now, meron tayong tinatawag na effective rate of interest. Oo. So, di ba, pag simple natin, kanina may simple. Pag simple interest natin, di ba, meron din tayong exact, tsaka ideal. So, ngayon, sa sa compound, meron tayong effective rate, tapos meron tayong nominal rate. So, effective rate interest is the actual or exact rate of interest of the principal during 1 year. So, sabi natin, if P is equal to 1 is invested at a nominal rate of 15%, sabi mong ganon, of compounded 15% compounded quarterly after 1 year, this will become, given yan. So, 1 plus 15%, divide mo by 4, then multiply raise to the fourth. Okay? So, yung piso mo magiging 1.1586, which the actual interest earned is actually 0.1586 centavos. 1586 centavos. Therefore, the rate of interest of after 1 year is 15.86%. Hence, meron naman tayo tinatawag na effective rate, which is effective rate is your equal to F1 or the amount that will be after 1 year minus 1. Okay? So, may sample tayo nyan dito. So, yan. So, in a borrower's point of view, in a lender's point of view, di ba? In 1 year, nagpautang ako ng piso, and in 1 year, I'll be receiving F1. Okay? So, ano pagkakaiba ng nominal tsaka sa effective rate? Sige. So, anong pinagkaiba ng nominal tsaka ng effective rate? Ano napansin nyo?
Tingin ko po, sir, yung sa nominal rate po is yung kinukumpute niya po is yung interest per terms po. Unlike po sa effective rate po is after na po nung whole period po nung payment. Kumbaga 1 year. Kung magkano po yung kita po. Yun po.
Ulit?
Ano po, sir? Sa
1 minute, ha? 1 minute.
sige. Sa nominal rate po, sir. Tingin ko po yung kinukompute niyo dun is yung interest niya po sa
yung housemate ko.
Sige po, sir.
Nagluto kayo. Sige. Ano tayo?
pinagkaiba po ng nominal rate sa effective rate po.
Yes.
So, based on my understanding po, sir, yung nominal rate po is computing the interest po every period po, every terms po of the whole period po of payment. Unlike po sa effective rate po is computing the whole interest po in 1 year po, sir, or the whole period po ng payment.
Okay, so simplihan natin. Imagine if you're going to pay full and imagine if you're going to pay staggered. Okay? So sa nominal rate, it's a direct compound situation, of which I simply divide my number of my years into the numbers of if I am going to anong tawag dito? If I'm going to divide my number of terms in a year to a certain number of terms. Okay? So nominal rate, as effective rate mo, what would be my payment projection or my future worth projection after 1 year? After 1 year ko, okay, do you get the point? After 1 year, if it's a compound at a certain percentage. So, si nominal, ito yung tinatawag mo na straight compound interest. Okay, so kumbaga, nagbayad ako, nangutang ako, tapos compounded siya in a nominal rate ko, rate of interest, then direct lang yung charges ko per quarter. Okay? Pagdating ko naman sa effective rate, ito na yung fina-follow ko, yung standard ko na compounding interest ko, which I consider the interest ko, okay, per quarter, and it's being part of my principal. Okay, so yun yung pagkakaiba nila. So to further appreciate, sige, let's have an example here. So yan. Tapos sabihin nyo, pag mangutang ka, dapat ano ka ba? Nominal o naka-effective rate ka? So sabi niya, find the nominal rate which is converted quarterly could be used instead of 12% compounded monthly. What is the corresponding effective rate? So nominal rate ko na hinahanap is R% compounded quarterly. Ang effective rate ko using the formula, that's 1 plus R, 4. So minus 1 ko. So sabi ko, if it's compounded, sabi niya sa question na, could be used instead of 12% compounded monthly corresponding to effective rate. So, if 12% compounded monthly ko, okay, that would be 1 plus 0.12 monthly. So, over 12 times ko by RM, which is 12. So, minus 1. So, makukuha mo ngayon dyan ay, ang lalabas sa'yo is your R compounded quarterly is 12.12%. Not your 12%. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin yan? So, ibig sabihin yan, when you are being presumed for nominal rate mo, the actual rate na nakukuha mo from a 12% interest is actually equal not to 12% but rather to 12.12 effective rate compounded quarterly. Okay? O, question. Alam ko mukhang magulo yan. So, balik tayo sa definition. O, para meron kayong reference. Question? Uy. May magandang tanong dyan.
Wait lang, sir. Ina-absorb ko pa.
So, yung nominal rate mo, yan lang yung declared rate mo. Cut to long story short. Yung effective rate mo, yan yung actual na binabayaran mo pag nag-compound ka. Ngayon, in terms of, di ba, yung sinasabi ng nominal rate of interest, it's a comparison to a straightforward simple interest. But in reality, what you are actually paying is actually the effective rate of interest, which is ito. Kaya pag nakita mo siya dito, sabi mo, 12% lang ang babayaran mo. Pero in reality, ang babayaran mo is 12.12%. Now, the reason behind, it's because, sabi ko nga sa inyo, it's because the principal mo is increasing based on the number of period of your terms. Kasi, di ba, yung interest mo, nagiging part ng principal mo. Sige, let's have another example here para mas ma-appreciate nyo siya. So sabi niya, find the amount at the end of 2 years and 7 months for 1,000 pesos. Pag invest siya at 8% compounded quarterly, using simple interest for any time less than a year, interest period. So ito, may dalawa kang scenario. So you have compounded at 8%, pero ang requirement niya, mabuo mo yung buong taon. Tapos, meron ka namang, sabi naman ng ganun, pag less than 1 year siya, okay, so you will simply use a simple interest formula. Okay? So ngayon, sabi mo, for compound interest, I mo is equal to what? 8% over 4, which is actually 2%. Ang N mo is equivalent to 2. Bakit 2? Kasi 2 years ka lang eh. Diba? Sabi niya, pag hindi buo ng buong taon, hindi mo gagamitin yung compound. So, ano lang ang buo mo? 2 years. So, 2. Tapos, sabi niya, at what interval? Sabi niya ganon. So, sabi niya, compounded quarterly. So, yung N mo magiging 8. Now, you have 7 months. So, another condition, 7 months, dapat simple interest ka lang. So, as a general rule, if the question is not asking for exact simple interest, you will follow yung idea lang natin, which is using your simple interest, which is using 360 or 12 months a year, 30 days a month. Okay? So ngayon, pag kinumpute mo siya, you have two formulas using simple formula and compound simple interest and compound interest. So, using it, so magkakaroon ka ng 0.02, gamit yung formula mong iyon. So, 1 plus 0.02, raise mo by 8 kasi 8 number of ano yan, 8 number of intervals for compounded, which is equivalent to a certain money that you will use as a principal for the simple interest. Follow ba to? Kaya mahirap talaga pag hindi siya F to F. Paano nga ba mag-highlight dito? Hagit lang ako. Tapos, huwag na. Mag-stress ako. Okay, so you get the point. Now, this is actually a hybrid, ano na to, hybrid interest, which you have compound and simple. So, for the first 2 years, compound interest. For the next 7 months, it's just simple interest. Okay, so from month O to month 21, that's month 21. Month 31, kasi 4 times 12, 24 plus 7, 31. Yung 1,000 mo daw magiging 1,226.34. May question tayo dito sa formula na to. Ay, sa solution. Do you want clarification? Okay. None. Okay, now, next example. Sabi niya, a loan was originally made at 8%. Simple interest for 4 years. At the end of this period, the loan was extended for 3 years without interest being paid. So, without interest being paid. Okay? So, take note of the word without interest being paid. But the null interest rate was made to 10% compounded semi-annually. How much should the borrower pay at the end of the 7 years? So, simple interest, tapos nag-compound siya. So, for the first 4 years, direct simple interest formula ka lang. So, at the end of 4 years, future worth mo is equal to P times 1 plus NI. So, that's 2,000. There's a quantity of 1 plus 4 times 0.08, 8%. So that would be 2,640. So sabi niya, at the end of 4 years, hindi niya daw binayaran yung utang na yon. So ibig sabihin, the principal at the start of year 5 is 2,640. So ito yung gagamitin mo ngayon for compounded. Tapos compounded siya at 10% semi-annually. So semi-annually siya, that is what? 10 divided by 2. So, magiging 5%. So, magiging 1 plus 0.05 raised to 6 times the principal value. That would be the value of your future worth at the end of 7 years. Okay? So, ngayon, in understanding yung basic economy problems natin, economics problem natin using the interest compounded, it's very, very critical, guys, that you look into the details of the question. Diba? So, hindi porket nabasa mo lang simple interest, dire-diretso ka ng pag-compute. No. So, you have to read through, highlight all the conditions, kasi that would help you understand. Okay? Understand the problem. Now, to better understand the problem, use a cash flow diagram. So, katulad nito, di ba? Sabi niya rito, nangutang ako at month O, nag-expect ako magbayad at F4, simple interest ang ginagamit ko. Ngayon, dahil hindi naman ako nagbayad ng buo niyan, the same amount would be used as my principal to be compounded for the next 3 years. Okay? So again, better way to understand the problem in terms of mga interest na ganito, use a cash flow diagram. Tapos, for the sake of understanding, kasi yung iba, it would really depend on how you look at it. Some people may look at it at the end of the lender or at the end of the borrower. Now, para same page tayo, always remember that when we do a problem solving, we always look into put our shoes as a borrower. So you imagine yourself as the one asking for money. How much you will be gaining at point zero, how much will be you paying at a certain point in time. So pag going down, ibig sabihin, the arrow meaning papasok sa iyo yung pera. If it's going up, then money is going out of you. Okay? So, it's already 8:35. So wag naman itong equation of values because this is something tricky. So, huwag niyo muna intindihin yan. Next week, we'll discuss that. Medyo mahaba-haba yan. Then, we'll go to the continuous compounding and discrete next week. So, for the meantime, alam ko, dito yun. Discount. Annuity, okay, madami-dami yan. Huwag muna yan. Alam ko, may practice solving tayo by... wait lang. Sakto na tayo. Para dun na kayo sa... Okay, so ayoko simulan yung annuity kasi medyo mahaba, kukulangin tayo ng oras. Baka umabot tayo ng 10:30 dito. Okay, problems. One, two. 1, 2. Okay. So let me share my screen. Tanggalin ko lang. Ayan. Tanggalin natin. Stop presenting. Okay. Sige, stop tayo muna doon sa compound interest. Now, doon sa may natin, sa may PDF file number 2 natin, at page 51, page 51, we have a practice problem here. So, meron tayong, may sagot na to, guys. So, let's do a practice problem, activity. So, 1, 2, hanggang 15. Ito. Okay? So, that would be your assignment for next week. So, answer problems 1 to 15, page 51 and 52. Hanggang 15 lang, ha? So, nothing more, nothing less. 15. Okay? Then, handwritten, bond paper. Okay? So again, answer it, bond paper. So what I want to see there is, for example, question number 1, write the problem. Then, for solution, I want to see yung mga given facts ng question. For example, I is equal to 8%, R is equal to 8, N is equal to like that, given P is equal to, let's say, 1,000. I want to see cash flow diagram. Okay, representation ng cash flow diagram and your solution on the problem. Okay, so bond paper, white. Okay, then picture ninyo. Okay, for your phones, kung gumagamit kayo ng phones o wala kayong phone, definitely may mahihiraman kayo. Your phone, if it's Android, it's already capable of saving as PDF. Okay, then upload it to our Facebook group. So today is Tuesday, so I want to see it before Monday next week. So passing of the assignment would be on latest is Sunday.
Till ano po yan, sir? Till night po yan, sir.
5 midnight.
Sige.
Okay, guys. Again, I am not giving any examinations. So meaning my reference of grades computation would be simply on the activities that we'll be doing. Okay, the reason I want it to be 110 because I want to see you guys really practicing. Actually, may sagot na dyan. 'Di ba? So may sagot na siya dyan. So it wouldn't hard for you to double check on what you're doing because there's already answer to that. Okay, so the goal is really for you guys to read, practice, and get more learning out of the experience of doing it. Kasi honestly, mahirap talaga na we're talking about numbers, we're talking about solving problems without doing it on the board. Diba? So I understand your agony. Okay? So for us to be more, for us to digest more, it's really we need to practice. To learn more, it's really we need to do it. Okay? Using the old method. Okay? So, ganun na, put the given, write the problem, put the given, draw the cash flow diagram, then give your solution. Okay? Once done from items 1 to 15, you take a picture of your bond paper. If you have a scanner, then scan it. If none, take a picture, save as PDF, then upload to our group. Okay? Hindi ko lang sure kung makakagawa ko ng Google Drive para mabigyan kayo ng access, para maibigay ko malagyan ko kayo ng separate folders one by one. I just don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that, but I'll try to. Okay, question?
Wala naman po, sir.
Ruby still with us?
Diyan po yun, sir.
Asan si Rubilin? Si Ruby. Rubilin, wala.
Tapos, easy lang po.
Ayan. Ruby, I was not able to ask you. Please do take note of the people who are reciting in the class. So, in your Excel file, have a attendance, di ba? Then, create another tab for the recitation. So, is actually more on a participation check for people. So, yung mga sumasagot, just put, 1, 2, 3, kung ilang beses na nagsalita sa klase. Okay? Guys, it's 8:44. Do you have any question? I'll try to have the class next week by 5 p.m. para hindi tayo maabot ng 9 p.m. Please be on time kung anong oras yun kasi if that's not 5, that would be 6:30 again. Because it's either I go out by 4 sa work or I go out at 6. So I can't be at 6 exactly here. So 6:30. Next topic would be about annuity. So yun yung medyo madugo. Then continuation of compound interest. So nag-start po tayo sa simple. Guys, question.
Sir, next week po, kung magklase po ulit, what time po ulit yung tapos ng klase? Kasi yung sa schedule po hanggang 8 p.m. lang po.
Oh,
Thank you po,
welcome to PUP. So that's why I'm asking. I'll be messaging you, Ruby, maybe as early as Monday to give you a heads up whether we're gonna have class 6 to 9 or 5 to 8. Again, guys, I would like to apologize with my time because at the end of the day I have work. So my work demands me to stay up to 6. I need to stay up to 6. So di ko alam kung ako lang or some of your teachers as well. But then again, please bear with me because currently that's one part of being in a manufacturing company. So at times there's going to be demand of work that goes beyond our normal working hours. So, ngayon pa lang, sabi ko na sa inyo, if we continue to meet each other for the next semesters to come, please expect we're gonna have makeup classes, we're gonna have like this, no? And ngayon pa lang, I would like to apologize for that because, I need to prioritize my bread and butter. Okay? So, I'll be transparent to all of you, no? So, again, if you have issue in attending the class ng 6 to 9, if you want to leave by 8, it's okay. Then if I have 2-3 people who will be staying up to 9, then we'll continue the class. Okay, any more question? Clarification? Okay, none. If there's none, guys, again, thank you for being able to join the class today. So let's try to improve in terms of our time. Hopefully, we'll be able to meet earlier. Okay, and hopefully by the next semesters we'll be on a face-to-face already. Hopefully, you guys are already vaccinated and already have your boosters. So para next semesters, we'll be able to meet each other in person. Okay? So, very much excited to see you guys because wala pa, ever since I started in PUP Binyan, I haven't seen one of my students personally. Okay? So, question, Jericho?
Ay, wala naman po.
So guys, if there's none, okay, thank you for joining the class. See you guys next week. Okay, have a great night.
Thank you po,
Thank
sir.
you po, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Tapos, huwag na masyadong tahimik ha. Please participate.
Bye, sir.
Masyado kayong tahimik.
Okay po, sir.
Opo, sir.